What if one of the biggest threats to your health after 60 was not a disease, not a diagnosis, and not something your doctor warned you about, but something sitting in your kitchen right now? Something you bought last week, something you may have eaten this morning. The foods we are about to discuss are not exotic or unusual. They are not things most people would ever suspect. They are common, familiar, and in most cases, widely believed to be either harmless or even healthy. That is precisely what makes them so important to understand. Because here's the truth: after the age of 60, your body is fundamentally different in how it handles what you eat. The digestive system has changed, the metabolism has shifted. The way your cells respond to sugar, salt, fat, and chemical additives is no longer the same as it was at 40 or even 50. And foods that your body managed without significant consequence in earlier decades can, after 60, quietly accelerate damage to the heart, the brain, the arteries, and the immune system. This is not about strict dieting. It is not about deprivation. Every food we discuss today comes with a simple, practical replacement, something you can enjoy in its place without losing the pleasure of eating. This is simply about knowing what your body needs now at this specific chapter of life and giving it the respect it deserves. 5 foods, clear explanations, real science, and practical swaps you can make starting today. Let's begin. Food. 1 breakfast cereal. The first food may be sitting on your breakfast table right now. And it may be one of the most misleading products in the entire supermarket, particularly for anyone over 60. Sweetened breakfast cereals. Not just the obviously sugary ones marketed to children, though those are certainly included. We are also talking about the boxes labeled heart healthy, whole grain, high fiber, and fortified with vitamins. The ones with reassuring claims that have convinced millions of older adults that they are making a responsible breakfast choice. Here is what actually happens when someone over 60 eats a bowl of most commercial breakfast cereals. The refined carbohydrates, even in cereals marketed as whole grain, are digested extremely rapidly. Within minutes of entering the digestive system, they are converted to glucose and flood the bloodstream. In a younger body with efficient insulin response, this spike is managed quickly. But after 60, insulin sensitivity naturally declines. The body's ability to process a rapid influx of glucose becomes less precise. The result is a significant blood sugar spike followed by a steep crash. That spike, repeated morning after morning, causes measurable damage to the delicate lining of blood vessel walls, a process called glycation. Over time, this contributes to arterial stiffening, plaque formation, and elevated cardiovascular risk. Research has clearly linked repeated blood sugar spikes in older adults to accelerated aging of the cardiovascular system. Then there is the sugar itself. Even cereals that don't taste overtly sweet often contain surprising amounts of added sugar. A single serving, which the box defines as a very modest portion, can contain 10 to 15 grams of sugar, and almost no one eats just 1 serving. The fortified with vitamins claim adds another layer of false reassurance. After 60, as we have already discussed in previous videos, the body's ability to absorb synthetic vitamins from fortified foods declines significantly. The vitamins sprayed onto processed cereals are largely not bioavailable to an older digestive system. You are getting the sugar without reliably getting the nutrients. The replacement is simple and genuinely satisfying. Steel-cut oats prepared with water or unsweetened plant milk topped with nuts, seeds, and fresh berries provide slow-digesting carbohydrates, soluble fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria, and antioxidants that protect arterial walls. It takes 10 minutes to prepare, and it is one of the most consistently recommended breakfasts in longevity research. Alternatively, a protein-forward breakfast eggs, Greek yogurt, or a small portion of smoked salmon produces no blood sugar spike at all and supports muscle maintenance, which becomes increasingly important after 60. Food: 2 commercial orange juice, The second food on this list has one of the strongest health halos of any product in the supermarket. It is associated with vitamins, sunshine, and good mornings. And yet, for anyone over 60, it deserves serious reconsideration. Commercial orange juice, even the premium varieties, even the not from concentrate, 100% natural, no added sugar versions sitting in the refrigerated section. Here is the problem. When you eat a whole orange, the sugar it contains fructose is delivered to your body slowly, bound up in fiber that slows digestion and absorption.
That fiber also feeds beneficial gut bacteria, reduces cholesterol, and supports digestive health. When you drink a glass of orange juice, all of that fiber is gone. What remains is essentially a concentrated dose of fructose, the equivalent of eating 3 or 4 oranges in 30 seconds, with none of the protective fiber. That fructose hits the bloodstream rapidly, producing a blood sugar response that is very similar to drinking a soft drink. For anyone over 60, this is particularly consequential. The liver, which processes fructose, already works harder with age. A sudden flood of fructose from a glass of juice places a significant metabolic load on the liver, contributing to fat accumulation, increased triglycerides, and elevated inflammation markers. Research published in major nutrition journals has repeatedly shown that fruit juice consumption in older adults is associated with higher blood sugar variability and worse metabolic outcomes than whole fruit consumption. The vitamin C that makes orange juice feel like a health food is genuinely valuable, but it is available in far safer forms: a whole orange, a kiwi fruit, half a bell pepper, a handful of strawberries. All of these deliver vitamin C alongside fiber at a pace the body can manage. The replacement is straightforward. Eat the whole fruit, not the juice. If you love the ritual of a morning drink, warm water with a slice of lemon provides vitamin C, supports liver function, and aids digestion without the blood sugar consequences. Food 3. Processed deli meats. The third food is found in the refrigerators of millions of households. It makes its way into sandwiches, salads, and quick lunches across the world every single day. And it carries a classification that most of the people eating it have never been told. Processed deli meats, including sliced turkey, ham, salami, bologna, and similar products, were officially classified as Group 1 carcinogens by the World Health Organization. Group 1 means the evidence that they cause cancer, specifically colorectal cancer, is considered sufficient and conclusive. They sit in the same classification category as tobacco smoke and asbestos, not because they are equally dangerous in dose, but because the causal link to cancer is considered established. This classification applies to all processed meats, including those labeled lean, organic, nitrate-free, and natural. The problem is not only the nitrates and nitrites used as preservatives, though those are significant. It is also the way the meat itself has been processed, cured, smoked, salted, or chemically treated, which creates compounds that are directly damaging to the cells lining the intestinal wall. For someone over 60, this matters even more for several reasons. The immune system's ability to identify and destroy abnormal cells declines with age, making the body less able to correct early cellular damage. The gut microbiome, already under pressure from aging, is further disrupted by the high sodium content and additives in processed meats. And the sodium itself, often exceeding 800 to 1,000 milligrams in a single serving, creates significant strain on blood pressure regulation in an older cardiovascular system. None of this means that eating a slice of deli meat occasionally will cause cancer. Risk is always about frequency, dose, and overall context. But eating it daily, as many older adults do, is a different conversation entirely. The replacement is real: home-cooked protein, chicken or turkey cooked at home, canned salmon or tuna packed in water, hard-boiled eggs, hummus with vegetables. These options provide the protein and convenience of deli meat without the processing, the sodium overload, or the carcinogenic compounds.
Food 4 ultra-processed snack foods 13 to 1630. The fourth category covers some of the most frequently consumed foods in the modern diet and some of the most damaging to the aging brain. Ultra-processed snack foods: packaged crackers, cookies, chips, flavored rice cakes, granola bars, and the dozens of other products that fill the center aisles of every supermarket. What defines ultra-processed food is not simply that it has been cooked or prepared. Nearly all food is. What defines it is the presence of industrial ingredients that have no place in a home kitchen. Emulsifiers, artificial flavors, color enhancers, preservatives, modified starches, and flavor intensifiers engineered to override the body's natural fullness signals and encourage overconsumption. Research published in leading medical journals has found consistent, dose dependent associations between ultra processed food consumption and accelerated cognitive decline in older adults. A major study found that people who derived a significant portion of their daily calories from ultra processed foods experienced cognitive aging at nearly twice the rate of those who ate minimally processed diets. The mechanisms are multiple chronic low grade inflammation triggered by food additives, disruption of the gut microbiome, which is intimately connected to brain health, blood sugar volatility, and displacement of genuinely nourishing foods from the diet. For seniors specifically, the empty calorie density of these foods creates a particular problem. Older adults naturally eat somewhat less than they did in younger years. When a significant portion of those reduced calories comes from foods that provide no genuine nutrition, no vitamins, no minerals, no fiber, no quality protein, the body's ability to maintain muscle, protect bone, and support brain function is directly undermined. The replacement is whole food snacking. A small handful of mixed nuts provides healthy fats, magnesium, vitamin E, and protein that genuinely nourishes. Fresh fruit with a piece of cheese, sliced vegetables with hummus, a small bowl of yogurt. These snacks satisfy hunger, support the body, and require almost no preparation. Food 5 refined vegetable oils, 1630 to 19. The fifth food is one of the most widely used and least questioned ingredients in modern cooking, and its effects on the aging heart and brain are increasingly well documented. Refined vegetable oils, specifically soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, and other highly refined seed oils that dominate supermarket shelves and are used in almost every packaged, processed, and restaurant prepared food. The issue with these oils is their fatty acid composition. They are extremely high in omega 6 polyunsaturated fats, particularly linoleic acid. In moderate quantities, omega 6 fats are necessary. But the modern diet delivers them at dramatically elevated levels far beyond what human metabolism evolved to handle. And after 60, the consequences of this imbalance become more pronounced.
Omega-6 fats, when consumed in excess relative to omega-3 fats, shift the body toward a pro-inflammatory state. Chronic low-grade inflammation, which we have discussed in previous videos, is one of the primary drivers of accelerated aging, cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and joint deterioration. Research has found that the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in the tissues of older adults eating modern Western diets is often dangerously skewed. Sometimes 20 to 1, when a ratio closer to 4 to 1 is associated with far better health outcomes. There is also the matter of how these oils are processed. Refined seed oils undergo industrial extraction involving high heat and chemical solvents. This process creates oxidized compounds and trans fat fragments that are directly damaging to cell membranes, the very walls of every cell in the body, including brain and heart cells. The replacement is one of the most well-studied dietary interventions in longevity research. Extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed, unrefined, has been consistently associated with reduced cardiovascular risk, better cognitive aging, and lower inflammation in numerous large-scale studies. It is the cornerstone fat of the Mediterranean diet, which remains the most evidence-supported dietary pattern for healthy aging worldwide. For cooking at higher temperatures, avocado oil is a stable, full alternative. For salads and dressings, extra virgin olive oil is simply the best choice available, backed by decades of research and thousands of years of human use. 5 foods, all common, all widely consumed, and all processed by the body after 60 in ways that quietly accumulate damage over months and years. Sweetened breakfast cereals, commercial orange juice, processed deli meats, ultra-processed snack foods, and refined seed oils. The good news, and there is very good news, is that every single one of these has a straightforward, delicious, and affordable replacement. Steel-cut oats and protein breakfasts, whole fruit instead of juice, home-cooked protein instead of deli meat, real food snacks instead of packaged products, and extra virgin olive oil instead of refined seed oils. These are not dramatic changes. They do not require a special diet or expensive supplements. They require only awareness, the awareness you now have, and the decision to act on it. Your body after 60 is not weaker. It is wiser. It knows what it needs. And now, so do you. Start with one change. Just one. This week. Pick the food on this list that appears most often in your kitchen and replace it with something better. That single decision, made consistently, is the difference between aging that feels like decline and aging that feels like strength. Thank you for watching. Share this video with someone you love, someone whose kitchen might hold one of these 5 foods right now. You could genuinely change their health. Subscribe for a new video every day, and keep making choices that honor the body that has carried you this far.